Hey, there's no shame in trying things that people ain't never tried before.
It's been an interesting week. Sometimes our lives plateau. We reach a state of normalcy, happiness even. But then, like a bull in a china shop, something enters our lives and wrecks it up and destroys that normalcy, and with it your routine and ultimately your happiness. Our order, our balance between order and chaos is broken, and we face only chaos, destructive. Sometimes it's a wreck or an accident of some kind. Sometimes it's the death of a loved one. Nothing so extreme happened to me right now. This time. Grandma didn't die a second time, no. No, this was far more mundane, but infinitely more interesting. To me, at least. Something so mundane could be so severe, enough to throw my zen off track completely. And fortunately, I made a video about paraphilia recently, so I can talk about this with a bit of a foundation instead of just going straight into the deep end. So, Skimmerlit, what the flippity dick happened exactly? Well, Sonny, I'll tell you. Earlier this week, I was reading some of that horrible pornography, shaking hands with the devil, supporting our degenerate authors. Everything was going about as well as could be expected until I hit this one story. It was only 3 chapters long the first time I read it. It wasn't concluded, but those 3 chapters were enough to punch me in the gut, kick my legs out from underneath me, and just destroy me emotionally. Well, Skimmerlit, what was in this poorly written smut story that crippled you so? Well, I will tell you, but first let me explain how this is going to work. It took a while to structure this video in a way that I could tell the story, give the context, explain why everything fit and affected me in the way it did, and finally, how you can apply it to your lives. So, the story. It starts off with your standard degenerate stuff. Anything you wouldn't want anyone to know about, insert there. That'll work as a substitute. Everything is going fine, but then boom, bang, pow. Cuck shit. Garbage. And it just starts happening, pow, this is what the story is about now. You can still have your degenerate stuff, but this is the overall theme. This is what we're getting at here. But it's not just normal cuck garbage that you're used to. No, they take it a step further. You've seen those shows and movies that were popular for about a month, in which citizens who were previously zombies are cured with some kind of medication, and they can remain human as long as they take the medication, but they are considered second-class citizens by all. And that's essentially what happens in this story here. Partner A is infected and becomes a second-class citizen, forever and fundamentally altering their relationship and destroying it, really. But they stay together. They keep things going because of love, despite the circumstances, and a big despite the gap growing between them because of the circumstances. And just and just from that premise alone, you can tell where the story is going. So then they bring Partner C into the mix at Partner A's request, and then Partner C starts spiting Partner A and encouraging Partner B to let them go. Stop thinking of Partner A as a human so they can live happily, and then you can really see where it's going, and ooh man. It goes exactly where you'd imagine. And it's poorly written all the way. It was painful to read, and then it was painful to read. But now that the story is done, again, it did go exactly where you expected. Partner C effectively replaces Partner A. Partner A is killed off, and Partner B is happier than they ever were. But again, at the time, the first time I read it, there were only 3 chapters released. Partner C was only just introduced. And yet it had this profoundly negative impact on me. And when I say profoundly negative, I'm not exaggerating. I do mean flippity-flappin' bad, my guy. The contents of those first 2 chapters and knowing where it was going after chapter 3 completely destroyed my balance and messed me up for at least a week. And it's still bothering me a little bit. Not as bad as it was, but I'm not 100% again yet. And I don't know if I will be, which is an interesting thought, but further, let's keep going. Why did this stupid cuck story mess me up so bad? Well, if you paid attention to the latter half of my last Paraphilia video, you know this has happened to me before. Twice, in fact, and kind of a third time, but I have very specific tastes which prevent me from getting other people off and prevent other people from getting me off, and it's negatively influenced every single relationship I've had, bar one. And every single one of those bad relationships ends with my partner finding somebody more suitable because of my fucking retarded kink. And as this is happening, when you see it, when you notice it, you have 2 options. You can either let them go find a more suitable partner, which sucks ass, or you can get on to them and hound them, and then they will run off and find a more suitable partner, which also sucks ass. But either way, you're not getting rid of the kink, so you're not solving the problem. I'm not solving the problem. Not getting rid of the kink. And it's not just that it's happened before, I'm possibly in the middle of it happening again. Dead in the middle of it. Man, and it sucks. So here I am reading this kinky, disgusting, shameful smut story, which I'm using to get off because I can't get off with a normal partner. And then I'm faced with the real-life situation I'm going through in my smut story, the real-life situation I'm facing because of things like this very smut story. And then, in the smut story, the person you project yourself onto isn't just getting cucked and disappointing their partner. They are literally a diseased, infected, second-class citizen only worthy of death. It's this big insignificance thing, and oh boy, it's gross. And then it all just kinda culminates and smashes together into one, combines, and suddenly you're living this amplified hell that you've lived so many times before, and your insignificance is amplified, your powerlessness is amplified, and there's nothing you can do. And you're experiencing all of this because there is something wrong with you that you cannot change, you cannot fix, a tumor you can't cut out, something that will be with you, inside you, forever, until you're dead. And it's this tumor, it's this problem, it is this malfunction that you're reading this garbage, this shit. It's the reason you're in this hell, and it's the reason you can't keep a relationship going, because you are malfunctioning, and you can't fix yourself. You can try, You can ignore it, you can repress it, you've damn sure done that before, and that's never ended well. You can embrace it, but then where does that get you? That gets you doing disgusting gay shit with people you hate, or cutting up your ribs looking like a fucking skeleton. That's a real good look. No, the only option is to deal with it. Neither embrace it nor repress it. Just deal with it. You got dealt a shitty hand, and you play the cards. Do what you can, you get by. Life's not fair, and people have it far worse than you. 6 gorillion Jews died in World War II. Just be thankful you aren't one of them. Bro, you got like the top layer of hell. You're just sitting in the waiting room, reading some shitty magazines. No, people have it so much worse than you. You don't even have room to complain, so just keep your fucking mouth shut and deal with it. And all that, is what reading those 3 short chapters was. It was an awakening, suddenly realizing, wow, I'm a horrible person and I'm in hell. And also realizing, people have it so much worse. Just deal with what you have and don't complain. But then you're in hell, so you need to complain. But then people have it so much worse than you, so you have no room to complain, so just shut your little mouth up. This big, nasty, maelstrom war broke out in the course of 30 minutes. Pure turmoil. And a guy's just trying to bust a nut, man. Come on, does this have to happen? So to sum this up, to keep me from rambling too long, my sexuality was is the direct cause of my greatest failures. And while I was crawling around in that pit, furthering my failures, I was confronted by those very failures, and suddenly, like a bomb went off, they were amplified, they became real, and it was a nightmare. And it wasn't just feeling bad all of a sudden, it was physical shock. I mean, I was shaken, I was feeling horrible, I was throwing up, evacuating from both ends in the bathroom, son, not fun. Felt like food poisoning on steroids. If you've ever had food poisoning, you know what I'm talking about. The blurry vision and shit. But I'm gonna stop talking about the effects and the aftermath, because it feels like I'm hunting for pity, and I don't want pity, and I don't like feeling pitiful. It's kind of disgusting. But I also didn't want to underplay it, because, man, you have these foundational experiences, and I think that is one of them, or is going to be one of them in years to come. So I explained what happened in the story. Degenerate garbage into supercuck. I explained why it affected me so powerfully. It's an odd experience meeting your demons in their home. It's like life's exchanging some money. Son, call that a reality check. But what does this mean for you, the viewer, the subscriber, my baby boy? Well, a few things, but first and foremost, get your shit sorted out. But this is actually kinda tough. You can't tell because of the magic of editing, but I've spent 7 minutes sitting here trying to rationalize how and why you should get your shit sorted out. On one hand, I preach balance. Balance achieved through self-mastery and self-understanding, as well as understanding the world and your place in it. With that balance comes confidence, and with that confidence, you exterminate fear and find zen and happiness. And with that, I was about to say, get your shit sorted out. If you see a problem in yourself or in the world, get it sorted, because one day, if you ignore it, you are in for a damn rude awakening. A rude awakening you cannot escape. A rude awakening that will find you. Will find you. You know, you can't be a master of yourself if you're ignoring your problems. You can't understand your place in the world if you're playing your cards close to your chest, hiding things. But on the other hand, didn't I just say earlier that you can't remove some problems, you can't remove some tumors? Sometimes you are just malfunctioning. You can't fix it. And your only option, really, is to deal with it. And that's exactly what I was doing. That's how I found peace. That's how I felt zen. That's how I found and achieved my balance. And if that is the case, that is truth, then my self-mastery was dealing with it, ignoring it, not thinking about it, and just trying to get by. Knowing I can't change myself, I can't get rid of it, and just doing the best with what I had. My shit was sorted, and yet I was still crushed. So, I don't know, man. I diddly do not ding-a-dang know. Actually, bim bam, brain blast, mother frother. Couple more minutes have passed. Just had an epiphany. Big realization here. Even when you have your shit sorted out, life will still kick you in the balls, kick you in the ribs when you're down, and spit on you when you're at your worst. So you can't actually prepare and find ultimate zen, ever. Life will always find a way to fuck you over. Even when you are keeping your mouth shut and playing the cards you're dealt, not making a fuss, getting by. So, reworked methods for applying this to your life. Epiphany included. Get your shit sorted out, man. Get it sorted out. Even though life will still find ways to screw you, if you can anticipate a problem, find a problem you can fix, then you should do everything in your power to fix it. Master yourself, man. Master yourself. You're a phenomenal human being, and you owe it to yourself to be the very best you can be. Not just for you, though that is important, but for everybody. For everybody who cares about you and anyone who could care about you. You owe it to yourself and you owe it to them to get your shit sorted out and be your very best. Number 2, if you have a problem you can't fix, some shit you can't get sorted out, take the time to understand it, know how it affects you and how it affects everyone around you, and then do your best. Because what else can you do? Sit there and be miserable for a week? For a month? For a year? For the rest of your life? It's not just you who's miserable. Imagine the people around you who are suffering because you are suffering. Or the potential people you could meet, you could know, you could love, you could interact with, build a community with, who you are disappointing because you are suffering needlessly. If you can't fix it, then shit, dude, you can't fix it. Do your best. Be the best person you can be with your unfixable problem. And number 3, finally, knowing life will kick you in the nuts even if you prepare to the best of your ability. Knowing life will hurt you somehow, no matter what. accept that you will have troughs. You will have down moments. You will have downs in your life. Much like death, you can't escape bad feelings. It's human, it's natural, it's mortal. We will never escape them. And even if we could, I don't know if it'd be a good idea to. But knowing that, anticipate the best choice. What would the best version of you do in this situation? When faced with this huge problem, when trying to find the best solution to get the best outcome, what would this Uber do, dude? And then just do that. But at the same time, anticipate bad moves and avoid them. Just follow the righteous path to the best you possible, and further the best future, the best world. Because, again, you're a good person, and you have plenty to offer the world. And the world is garbage, and there are a bunch of garbage people in the world. And life will always find ways to trash people. And it's your job to not only overcome your inevitable garbage, your inevitable whippings at the hands of massa life, but also to help other people overcome their inevitable plights. And that doesn't mean going out and saving everybody. That's not going to happen. But by putting your best foot forward and only contributing the best of you to the world and only accepting the best of yourself for you, you will be a happier person and you will contribute to a happier world and a happier people. So, in summary, number 1, get your shit sorted out to the best of your ability. Solve any problems you can. Number 2, don't get weighed down by the problems you can't solve, because you can't solve them. Just do your best and move forward. And number 3, when life does happen, when shit happens, despite your best preparations, don't get caught up in the pain and the suffering. Don't wallow. Put your best foot forward. Not just for you, but for everybody. Because we want to see you do your best. And I know you want to see us and everyone else in the world do their best. Because we all want to live in a happy, productive world. Man, what a triumphant end to this problem I've been having, and what a triumphant end to this video. We got a nice little list of how to deal with shit. And going into this video, I was very cynical, and I expected it to have a cynical end. But maybe it will anyways. Because really, I am still dealing with a problem I can't solve, and I will face consequences for this problem I can't solve and I can't do anything about. And other people will too, and that sucks. It really sucks. Even though we have this list to help, it still sucks. And man, there are just no right answers to anything. Good God. Ichi, Chichi, Felici on my beachy, sneechy, canchichi, son. Golly. Ooh, boy. But what do you guys think? Did this video go where you thought it would? It didn't in my I mean, I'm the one who's making it. It didn't go where I thought it was going. I expected to be stuck on that story a lot longer. I didn't expect to find any answers to anything making it. Goodness gracious. Have you had any similar rude awakening type experiences? I'm curious. I'd love to hear some of your founding moments. Because boy howdy, I think I just had one last week. And I still don't know if it's resolved. Boy, do you have any serious problems you just can't fix? Like, I'm sitting here dealing with a fetish, and there are people who are born into disease. Man, I don't know. Well, I hate saying I don't know. That's an awful thing to say. I do know. I don't have any room to talk. That's what I know. But what are you guys' unsolvable, detrimental problems? I'm curious. What shit are you guys gonna sort out? What solvable problems do you have, and what ideas do you have to solve them? Those are way more fun to focus on, because that's a goal, that's an achievement, that's a good path, Sonny. I'd love to hear about those too. And finally, if you do have any unsolvable problems, or consistently deal with life kicking you in the balls, and I guess everybody does, but how do you just deal with it? How do you just deal with your unsolvable problem? Or how do you survive life kicking you in the balls? Another thing I'm very curious about. But that about wraps this one up, everybody. Holy shit, this is probably the longest video I've done. Goodness gracious. I hope you enjoyed watching, because I certainly enjoyed making it. Although it took me a while. Been wanting to get this video done before I tackle anything else, but man, this one was kind of difficult to make. Took a little while. Like if you enjoyed, because that helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, because we do this shit more than weekly. And I'm pretty proud to say that, even if we are buffering the more than weekly with shit posts, we still do this more than weekly, and it's one of my points of pride. I'm very happy about it. And comment your thoughts. Any thoughts. Answers to questions. Questions you ask, are asking, have asked. I love hearing from you. I'm just curious, you know? I'd love to hear what you have to say. And thanks again for watching, everybody, really. We have tons of funds on this channel, and I look forward to having you in the future, after I get some restful ass sleep, Sonny boy.